Alright, hey guys, what's up? We're back. And today I was thinking of any more stories I could tell, things I could just talk about, not rants, not gaming stuff, whatever. And one thing that I decided to talk about is one of my biggest fears for a really long time in my life, about the first 15 years of my life. And that is speed. More particularly roller coasters. But speed plays a huge factor into it because I always had a huge fear of speed growing up, and it didn't matter if it was in a boat, it was in a plane, it was in a car, on a roller coaster. Obviously, it didn't matter. I just wasn't a huge fan of speed, and that was pretty ironic because I'm a huge NASCAR fan. But whatever, get to that in a minute. But we always used to go to Cedar Point too, and I always felt really bad about myself for not wanting to go on any of the roller coasters or anything, especially as I got older and was actually able to ride all the roller coasters. But I just could never sum up the courage. Like the first time I did actually go on a roller coaster was, I think I was just 7 years old. We were at Disney World, and I got on test track with my dad. And when I get in there, and I was super excited. We had like 4.5 hours for this thing. And you may be wondering why I'm not doing a test track roller coaster review, because I haven't done roller coaster reviews forever. This was like 10 years ago at this point. I don't remember anything from the roller coaster. So if I ever go back to Disney World and ride it, I will review it. But no, I don't have barely any recollection of it. And mostly because it was 10 years ago. But another part is because when the ride actually started, after the series of launches to go, first launch, second, it was like all part of the theming because it was test track. They were testing cars, so it would be like a acceleration and braking test. To go start, stop, and then they take some notes. Start, stop, take some notes. Start, stop, take some notes. And then after the third one, then you'll launch out and you actually do the rest of the ride. The reason why I can't do a review of it for the other part is because I was cuddled down next to my dad, and I didn't actually see any of the ride after the last launch. So that was fun. That was the first time I ever rode a roller coaster. Second time was later that year at Cedar Point, and I rode the Blue Streak. Now, I did re-ride the Blue Streak, and that's why I was able to do a review on it, because I actually paid attention to the ride. But the first time I got it, I was actually really excited to go on it. I don't remember why. But I got in line, and we got up to the ride, and I remember looking at it, and then we get in there, and, we're going up the hill, and, I was sitting in the back, too. I think I was sitting in the very back, if not the second to back. And I was like, oh, I could see the lake over there. So we were by Lake, of course, by Lake Erie. So you can see lake. And get ready. They're like, get ready. And I go down. And then immediately I just start wailing and screams. Half of the reason was because of the speed. The other half is because I was like, like, think of Mac from Cars. Like, that sort of thing, right? So because it was so bumpy, they redid Blue Streak in 2016, made it smoother. If you watch my review on Blue Streak, you'll wonder why I'm putting the quotation marks around it. But, so, it was super rough, and we're going over these hills and stuff, and I'm just, my head is shaking. I can't see a thing clearly. And we get to the end of the ride, and I don't think I actually really minded the speed that much. I think it was actually, the better, but the main, I had a huge headache afterwards. That was the main portion. That was the main part of it, is I had a huge headache afterwards. And, yeah, I didn't go on anything else after that. I didn't want to go on Windseeker, I remember. But, didn't do that either. But after that, I really didn't ride any roller coasters after that. I did ride a water ride. I did ride the Jurassic Park water ride at, Universal in 2017. I rode a few other water rides, like Snake River Falls at Cedar Point. I rode that. But it wasn't, I just remember I was so guilty. I felt so guilty to myself for not wanting to ride these rides. And I was trying to think one day, why do I not want to ride these? Because I felt like I had gotten over the speed aspect of it. Okay, because how I learned to deal with speed was by moving my body to try and counter the speed. I didn't want to be stationary. I tried to move to counter the speed, and it works. But But the reason why I couldn't do that on roller coasters is because of the restraints. So I tied it to being the restraints were the reason why I didn't like riding roller coasters, because I would be locked in and I would get that feeling in my brain like I'm done. I'm going to die. I'm going to be going so fast. I'm gonna blood flowing through my body. I'm gonna die, and I'm locked in here. This is my death trap. I'm gonna be thrown around. That was my perception when I got locked into those things, and that's why I freaked out so much. So I was like, okay, I just have to get over these restraints. And so 2018 comes around. I'm 15 now, and we take a church youth group trip to Michigan's Adventure, and and we all get there. It's rainy, and we go there, and immediately everyone jumped in line for Zach Zoomer, which was the smaller wooden roller coaster. Me and I took Eli with me. Lucas was there with some of his friends, and we get in line, and I was in line for the roller coaster. And my dad was like baffled that I was even going to ride this thing. He didn't ride it. He was baffled that I was going to ride this thing, and I'm like, okay. I need to face. At that day, I was like, all right, I need to face this fear. I need to face this fear, and I need to get over it, because otherwise, I am going to miss out on so many fun things and not be able to enjoy them, and that's just how it's going to be. Well, I got in line, got on the roller coaster, and you know what? I had a good time. I'm like, and then that day, I was like, it's over. I beat the fear. I rode Shivering Timbers that day. I rode Thunderhawk. I rode the Corkscrew. And then later that next month, we went to Cedar Point with a couple of my friends. I rode a bunch of roller coasters there. Had a really good time. 2019, I rode roller coasters. Last year, I didn't because of the pandemic. This year, plan on going to Cedar Point at least once, maybe twice. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait to do that. I'm going to ride more roller coasters. But that's basically why I am not a fan. I was not a fan of roller coasters for a long time. Now, one of my other bucket list things involves me going on riding in a NASCAR with somebody who can actually drive the thing, because I am not about to drive that fast. Never have done it before, and I would love to do it, but that's going to be a whole different thing than a roller coaster, I feel like, because you're locked in, you're in these fire suits, and you're in for the ride at that point. I mean, it's a whole different experience, but we'll see if I ever do actually get to do that or not, but we'll see. So yeah, moral of the story, I like roller coasters now. I've done reviews on them. I can't wait to go to more places and do more and ride more roller coasters. There's a few from Cedar Point I still haven't ridden that I need to review. There's one from Michigan's Adventure that's in that same category, but there's other parks that I want to go to eventually. Ride more roller coasters and review them and do all this fun stuff, and I can't wait. And I can't wait to do them. So, yeah. So, do you guys, any of you, my viewers, do you like roller coasters or not, and why? I'd like to know, and maybe I can help you get over your fear of roller coasters some way or another. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Yeah, bye.